Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in the video today, and today we're going to be talking about Damian Lillard potentially signing with the Boston Celtics. It's reported by the Boston Globe yesterday that Jason Tatum is actively trying to pursue Damian Lillard to the Boston Celtics. Now, I think here's a couple things that'd be interesting about this signing. Number one, I'm going to mention that him and Anthony Simons played on the same team. And so Lillard be reuniting with Simons. That's not the most interesting part about this potential deal for Lillard, but that's one thing I thought about right before recording. Now, here's the other bigger thing of this signing. What this would give for Lillard is, the opportunity of going to Boston, rehabbing with Jason Tatum. I think Lillard, I would predict that Lillard's probably a little bit more ahead than Jason Tatum, because Lillard got hurt at the end of the first round of the playoffs. Tatum got hurt at the end of the second round. So I'm sure Lillard might be a little bit more, not a lot more, but just a little bit more ahead in the process of recovering from a torn Achilles. But they're both, going through the same injury near the same time. And so, the hope would for them both to be back around the same time. Maybe that's the end of next season. Maybe that's the beginning of the 2025-26 season. But I feel like with Lillard, the goal for Lillard is to come back at the end of next season. Now, Jason Tatum, I think that might be a little bit unrealistic. But if you get Damian, if you're the Boston Celtics and you have Derek White and you have Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard, and maybe they keep Anthony Simons. They have that group. And a little bit unsure about what's at the center position there. But if they have the guys that just talked about of, Hauser, Pritchard, White, Jaylen Brown, Anthony Simons, they've got those guys. I think that's good enough to be a playoff team. Then you get Lillard back for maybe the last couple weeks of the season. And then maybe you can get Jason Tatum back for the playoffs, and you've got Jason Tatum, Damian Lillard, Derek White, in that group. Here's what I would predict. This is just my prediction. I think that if the Boston Celtics were to sign Damian Lillard, this is my feeling. I feel like Boston might try to trade Anthony Simons for a big man. But there's a lot of questions. I think that, we've seen a lot with the Celtics this offseason, and I think there's still a lot more questions to what's to come. Like, are Jaylen Brown and Derek White completely untouchable? There have been reports about how they are untouchable, but then you've got reports about teams very interested in both of those guys. Is Hauser going to get moved? Because at times, NBA inside, in the early offseason, there were guys like Shams and other NBA insiders that were saying the three guys that the Celtics were trying to move the most were Drew Holiday, Sam Hauser, and Kristaps Porzingis. Well, Porzingis got traded to the Hawks. Holiday got sent to the Blazers. Is Hauser going to get sent somewhere? I think that's another question for the Celtics. Here's another, you can keep going with questions for the Celtics team. Is Jason Tatum going to be out the entire season, or is he trying to make a return at the end of the season? I think those are three questions you can ask about the Celtics right now. And then here's another added one. Do the Celtics potentially sign Damian Lillard? But I think with the Celtics, you offer Dame. Here's what you offer to Dame. A very cheap deal for next season. Like, we're talking really cheap. Like, Lillard might be, let's just say Lillard should get half of what he's worth. Like, if Lillard thinks he's worth $20 million, then and they feel like he's going to be able to come back last couple weeks of the season in a potential postseason, I think you should be paying him $5-10 million for next season. But then let's say he's worth $20 million, get him 20. Lillard might be worth more than $20 million. I'm not saying he is. I'm just throwing that out as an example. Then you pay him what he's worth for the next season, because the expectation, I don't think you're going to sign Lillard to it. This is, thought. I don't think you're going to sign Damian Lillard just to a 1-year deal. It's not going to be, especially when that 1-year deal is a deal where he's missing multiple games, most of the season. So I think it's going to probably be, for Lillard, a 2 or 3 year deal. So if Lillard feels like he should be getting $25 million in the 2027 season, and maybe that same amount in the 2027-28 season, give him that. But then give him about half or less than half of that this season because he's barely going to play. But we'll see what happens with Lillard and all these other questions I talked about that the Boston Celtics might have going into this season. That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on this potential signing for the Celtics in the comment section, and peace out.